Hi YouTube, how are you doing? I'm doing okay. It's a nice day here. Not sure what I'm talking about today. I mean in particular. Um just just gonna spend some time shoot the breeze with you. I'm little my allergies. I don't know if it's like stuff pollinating or what it was. It could be even the beginning of the leaves. Like we usually get this type of I usually get this type of like watery eyes and that type of thing. um Membrane swelling, and your eyes, what happens when the leaves start to fall in it's usually in September or October. This is very, very cool. I mean, cold. It's been a cold summer. It's not global warming, it's just part of either we're going into a La Nino or La Nina. We just came out, we're coming out of an El Nino, um, which means that things are going to be globally cooler, and I think a lot of people are experiencing that. Like I've heard over in the UK, they've been a lot colder than what they typically are for their summer. We have too. We were down below 50 degrees last night. And there's times this time of year it's been like 110 degrees. I mean, that's not no joke at all. So, yeah. When I hate to call them controllers because ultimately they don't have control even over their own selves, but the people who can impose their um what they deem to be science on everybody else and push it through like that's fact. That really bothers me. Just like when I heard that like AIDS, we know isn't catchy if somebody's coughing in public and it's a virus, and then they're out there telling people how you can contract a virus. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, that drove me nuts. I'm sure there's other people that have studied virology and germs, and um I mean, you just know. You know better. And there's so many doctors that have actually lost their positions in clinics and hospitals and different areas, even their private life um income suffered because they were willing to stand up and tell the truth about all this stuff. You know, it's not that there aren't diseases out there that are not catchy or anything. It's just for me, I've seen this all my life, and nothing is new. Nothing is absolutely nothing is new. This is all so old hat, as old as pre-Egyptian, you know, and it's all documented. I mean, the plagues, everything, it's already happened. Everything that, so okay, this really too would be my topic, my main thing for today. If somebody's teaching you or I the Word of God, first off, what is their God that they believe in? And what are they going to gain from taking that time to teach you anything? What's their ulterior motive? Um, is it financial? Is it attention? Is it concern for other human beings? I mean, when you hear these people, you have to ask, really, what is their ulterior motive? It's like I had to quit watching, it's called something Ministries. Just a minute, I'll get back with that name if I can remember. Well, Rabbi Simon Jacobson. I mean, 2 times I hear him refer to people as going off the reservation. Okay, one time was bad enough. And it might have been even like the third time he had said that, and I wrote something about it. It's just crude. I mean, here is somebody that would scream anti-Semitic if I opened my mouth in an adverse manner to their teachings, insulting the Native Americans, and he lives in the natives' country and couldn't even care less. And it's just like about a couple weeks ago, I was talking about completely white people calling themselves Native Americans. This has gone too far in that respect. So, what do you um intend to gain? There's nothing but money. If you're intending to reach people with love and concern for them, your approach is you just about do or say anything to the people you love for their benefit, no matter what that looks like to other people, you know. You have to excuse me. I have a itch on my ankle. I'm gonna put some of my medicine on it. It's driving me nuts. Excuse me a minute. I'll just do it while I'm talking to you, but something bit me. Probably a mosquito or whatever, Might have been outside. But yeah. So I use calamine lotion. It works. I heard somebody had poison ivy on their feet. Um, get that. Oh, maybe can you see it? Calamine. It's cheap. It's like, oh, I think you can get it in um what is it called? Dollar General, or them $1.25 stores now. You know, we have one in a neighboring town. The one in our town is really good. We have one in a neighboring town where the people in that town, um, I lived there for a while in my oh, early 30s, and they had a tendency to view themselves as above other people, and the place is a dump of a town. And the thing that looks really bad going into the town, because it's built on Indian burial ground, is that it has like a tombstone. Welcome to Mora. And if for all you biblical scholars, you'll recognize the name of the town, Mora, as being also a town. I think I'm not sure if it's on the Levant, it's somewhere in the Middle East there. I do believe by the south, I think it is south of Turkey, going into maybe Pakistan, maybe in that area. Palestine, over in that area, I think, if I remember right. But anyway, I just think it's comical because here's a town full of mostly um, agorant, creepy, stuck up, and rather slutty people looking down on other people, and they have a tombstone for their um, yeah, for their city entering it. Wow. It suits them. We've got in Pine City, it says welcome to Pine City, and it's done all in log and it's carved in there. And we got a great big, it used to be a redwood tree that was sitting across, well, it's a road across from our creek. The creek winds around by the road, and across the creek on that side of the valley it's called Contrast Road because it contrasts the other hills. And, well, anyway, up there they had this great big redwood log sitting there for the longest time. And then they carved a Voyager out of that log. And so in our town, we have a great big Voyager um, carved out of wood, out of redwood. And it's just beautiful. So um, it it could be um, because there was a lot of trade. There's a lot of trade in the boundary waters that was done with canoes and fur company trading posts. Like we have one over here off the river, big river called Snake River, goes through a bunch of lakes and winds its way eventually into the St. Croix, then into the Mississippi. So but the Mississippi starts up by the boundary waters too, um, up by the Continental Divide up there, the between United States and Canada. A lot of water up there, lakes, rivers, waterfalls, all kind of just flowing south. Well, anyway, we're a part of that lake system in Minnesota. We've got a lot of lakes and rivers and that type of thing. It doesn't really even show it on the map. You can't really even see it. Um, Not really. I mean, you could go to Google Earth and check it out, and you'd be surprised at the amount of water that we live around. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I think it's a little nicer to have oh, that's what I was gonna say about the fur trading and stuff. That was like a lot of the French and Scottish and Dutch, um, and then uh, working with the natives, which would be like the Cree up there and some of them. And so, anyway, they were working together with the natives' canoes and whatnot to bring their goods down into the United States. So, and a lot of that might even been like European and that type. So there was a lot of um, English influence and different things. Uh, all kinds of people, up in Canada too. But yeah, anyway. But I don't know. I always ask myself when I'm watching somebody, unless it's just for entertainment, or maybe they're just actually um good company and I just like the way that their brains work. I or their drive or their endurance, that could be too. But yeah, I'm always wondering what's in it for them. Why are they doing it? I had somebody say that they wanted to see who they were talking to, and I had been doing some videos over on Facebook. In fact, I've been on Facebook for its entirety entirety. Oh, yeah, I have a hard time with that word. Yeah, I'm not going to try it again. Forget it. You get what I mean. The whole time it's been up. And then they wiped out about 10 years of our information. And I had some really awesome things from 20 years ago that were documented on there. And I mean, I guess I think the most that really bothered me the most were the photographs that I thought that I had in a safe place that I didn't, that were digital. That bothered me. But, what do you do? But a lot of documentation about people's migration and languages and a lot of the stuff I still do, but there was just a lot more of it that got wiped out because Facebook seemed to think it was legal to be able to take everybody's information and then do whatever they wanted with it. Cheers, everybody. I'm listening to a intelligent person named Darren Stevenson. He's got a video called The Conversation Part 2. It's insightful. He's thinking on a level where um like every aspect, people say they look at every or things from every angle, but I don't know. Or he also was talking how we get older that like our imaginations kind of dissipate, like our brains for that area will like crystallize, and how like maybe a child will be playing in the sand or in the bathtub with toothpicks, and all of them were like ships, and then you can make a tidal wave like he's in all the oceans, or that type of imagination that you'll have when you're younger that you might not have when you're older. And I don't know. I see getting older and especially recovering after a stroke and not being able to even talk for a while or walk properly. um I still could think. In fact, I think my mind raced even more at the silence than it does with the ability to speak again. And I do know um, a little bit of American signing, you know, little bit. I mean, I can do it if I have a chart, and then if I'm around somebody, or the whole sign language and, all that, like, thank you and whatever. That's whatever. So, that type of thing, because I got to experience, well, time with a woman my middle name is named after that went blind and couldn't hear, Susan. And then also, I spent a lot of time with people and in the Minneapolis School for the Blind, and it wasn't just for the blind. They were deaf and mute, and some were um, oh, physically handicapped, in other ways too. Um, not just, not mentally ill, but physically ailing. There were some, I guess I would, excuse me, um, describe them as physically and mentally impaired. But anyway, when I was younger, I spent a lot of time with people, even riding on the bus from there to other parts in the city. And when I was going to my junior high school, I we would stop there and pick people up, and so I interacted with a lot of people that had handicaps that you had to communicate with. So I learned a little bit of that. And my youngest son, Jonathan, is fluent in American Sign Language. In fact, if he were to, I always tried to urge him to teach it because how many teachers do you know? I know one. I know one girl, lady, woman, um, beautiful girl, a friend of mine. Her daughter is a American Sign Language teacher in I don't know what university she's in now. We sort of lost contact after this woman's husband died, and all things went a little crazy in their lives for a while. But anyway, the daughter does that for a living, and she makes some pretty good money doing it. But yeah, anyway, yeah. So Italians be like that too. No, sign language, you know. Yeah, my dad used to have a joke about that, asking me if I was speaking Italian, you know. I said, yeah, I think so, you know. Anyway, I got a kick out of this Darren Stevenson. He does an imitation of Dr. Almond Hillman. If you watch this, Darren, you nailed it. That's excellent. I can imitate a few people. Oh, okay, now back to my point about the memory and your imagination when you get older and whatnot. I agree on that on a certain level, although we can keep expanding our minds. I feel like there's things, say if I knew it in the past and I were to go and hadn't practiced something for a long time and then you go and pick it up again, it's a lot easier for you to reestablish something that you already know. So it's like your hard drive within yourself, and you have so much RAM, so you put it up in the cloud, and then you're able to go and access that unless you are like Facebook and just wipe the whole thing out. I don't know. But I feel like it may take longer for an older person to get there, but it's like going back through your files or plugging in a USB where you have that stored. You do know it's there. You can access it. It just might take a little longer than it used to because you have more information in there, just like any information device. It's there, you know. Just like I studied all kinds of languages. And I used to be better at my French than it's really horrible now. But I mean, enough where if I hear people talking, I can get it. I'm a little better at my German and I'm way better at my Spanish because I had to really get into the Latin, the Hebrew, and the Greek in order to really understand what the scriptures were saying. And then when these masters out there, scholars, are out here telling people, look, we've done the same thing with these languages and the base languages and whatnot. And our findings are that what I was taught too. Of course, the Masons know that. These things were taken, borrowed from basically Greek mythology. It's a mythos, it's the myths and stories. They're not actual documentations of things that happened. Can't get it through people's heads clear enough. It's not that the word isn't valuable. It's the twists in the original documents and what was originally said compared to what's said now that we have a major beef with, you know. I don't like being lied to. I want the facts. I only want the facts. I don't want anybody's buttered up, sugar coated, whatever baloney when it comes to something scriptural, spiritual, concerning God. I only want the truth and not somebody's watered down interpretation of a fairy tale that isn't true. And that's where language and history and chronology come in. That the monsters out there, the true scholars, yeah, they might make money off of what they're doing. And watch out if they do. If they don't have a boatload of work behind them, that they can actually prove that to you in some way, that they hold some kind of value that some other scholar doesn't, let it go. You're playing with a baby. You're playing with a baby Mason that has a chart on what to tell you to keep your little brain occupied while they try and take money from people. And if you're helping them do that, you're a very small human for other people. You know, that just gets to me. So I'm for any scholar or doctor, PhDs, you PhDs out there that are digging down to the truth for people, even if it's at the loss of your own finances, and that's what I've been seeing. These people have been shunned and ousted by the people that want to keep the fairy tale version of their dominance over you using religion through the language that they twisted, and it's sickening. I hate them for it. I really do. These liars, and you can't tell me these people are moving with the spirit of God in their hearts. No, they are not. Not at all. Oh, the Lord told me you're a flippin' liar. Anyway, even says that Christ works with, Jesus works with the Spirit. That is not one and the same. But there's some of you out there that don't want to hear that because your Goddy God and your GZ Jesus and the Holy Spirit are all one male entity that doesn't have anything to do with the flesh of a woman or her part in the whole thing. And that's who you are. And I have names for people like you that is illegal for me to say on YouTube. And that has nothing to do with anybody's gender, by the way. Although you presume it does because you're all mixed up like that. I don't play fair with pretenders. When people have an axe to grind and they're grinding on other people with that thing, I have a problem with you. Oh, I'm going to read you something that I shared in my community, I think. Yes, I am. Just a second here. It's from the Lakota people. They're cousins to the, would be like, oh, it's not the Shoshone. It's not the Cree. They're Canadian. They're part of the Lakota family. But it was from Native American today, the Lakota spirit. And it says, meanwhile, in Saskatchewan, the teepee is the spirit and body of woman because she represents the foundation of family and community. It's through her that we learn values that bring balance into our lives. That is why when you construct a teepee, it involves ceremony because the ceremony of making a teepee represents the values of woman's teachings. And then it says, love my sisters. And, there's, uh, I could say, all cultures in the world aside from the dark ages of the European culture that pushed monotheism on everybody has the belief of the male and female parts within our society, and it's only this very sick riddance of the mother's spirit and the sick mothers that have allowed these men to feel like that. Um, is it demonically possessed that somebody's mother would have a man turning to the same sex instead of the wisdom of that Sophia spirit within the world that the woman was born with in that Trinity? Huh. I don't know. What do you think? So anyway, even Jesus refers to God as his father. But we'll ignore that part too. Some cultures, and it isn't some cultures, not just some, many describe the female spirit that had guided them through thousands of years with that spiritual guidance until where'd all these wars come? Where'd Satan come in? Let's look up the language for the Middle Ages, for the Dark Ages, and you're going to find out what Dark Ages means. That's when the separation between men and women came in hard on our planet, and it hasn't left, you know. And that is the separation of the family and community and everything just with those thoughts. It's not anybody trying to take away from our Father, the Almighty. In the flesh, it's honoring both parents. We live in the flesh. If you want mom to help you, then you should tell mom thank you. If you don't, then I believe that you should have your Jesus. And you need that because she doesn't want you. And Jesus likes his boys. And think about this. Why would, well, It said that Mary went up to Jesus and said, "The boys need more wine." She didn't say men, because people think that these disciples were 30 or 40-year-old men. They were in between 10 and 19, every single one of them. And it's documented in the Greek. Does that change your mind on those come with me, you don't need anything, the Lord will provide type of attitude with children and adolescents? And I guess we're all just a little brain dead there if we think there's any society at any time that that's acceptable. Oh, yeah, go ahead, take my child to go preach with you. That isn't what was going on. So, especially when you find out who Simon Peter or Simon Magus is, and that Jesus actually was into sorcery, magic. Do you know how much magic is in the scriptures? Do you have an understanding of it at all? You can look at Solomon, you can look at Saul going to the witch. I mean, I'm talking about these Christians. Saul was a magi, Simon was a magi. Are you starting to get the picture of the grand illusion that you're living under with the twists of language? Well, I'm going to get this uploaded. I really appreciate you all taking the time to think along with me in this big ball of confusion that um, greedy men and women have laid upon us, and how we're working hard trying to reclaim our history and stop the tyrants. There's some of us that are true warriors against tyrants. I might be the biggest warrior against any tyrant you ever saw in your life, because I wanted to get to the big dog. I wanted to find out where that energy was coming from and put a wrench in its gears. And I've done that. You will see the effects of that. In fact, you're already seeing some of it, but it'll get better. I mean, the more and more people start talking about the reality of what happened in the Middle Ages too, and before that, when they started burning libraries and um, the all the wars, all the fakeness of it, all the planned, um, just to get the taxes out of the people and keep them submissed. I mean, if you look at it for its reality and take out the good that we can glean from all this, that's the best we can do with that. So, all right, I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.